Good morning, members of the press. We, the Minority Caucus, wish to address the alarming state of Ghana's power sector, particularly considering recent comments made by the Minister of Energy and Green Transitions. His statements have not only instilled fear among Ghanaians, but have also sent troubling signals to the business community. It is imperative that the minister shift his focus from public pronouncement to tangible actions that will resolve the ongoing issues plaguing our power sector. It looks like our colleague, the Minister of Energy, seems more interested in making headlines than keeping the lights on. The minister's recent claim that Ghana has only 2.6 days of fuel left was not just baseless, but economically damaging. Such remarks create an atmosphere of uncertainty and instability, which is detrimental to investor confidence. Power is the lifeblood of industry, and such statements send panic through businesses still recovering from the aftershocks of COVID-19 and global economic turbulence. This is not the first time the minister has made statements that paint a bleak picture of our energy situation. During the swearing-in ceremony of the president, he alarmingly stated that Ghana was left with only 5 hours of fuel, a comment he later retracted after clarifying that it pertained to heavy fuel oil, that is HFO, after causing needless anxiety while neglecting to mention that other power plants were operational with available fuel. His subsequent assurances following the 2.6 days of fuel comment do little to alleviate our concerns. This pattern of panic then retreat communication is unacceptable. The minister must stop frightening Ghanaians and start fixing the problems. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, as a seasoned member of the Energy Committee and former Deputy Minister, we expected the minister to confront these challenges head-on, rather than resorting to political rhetoric. Let us be clear, the current administration, when leaving office in 2017, left the sector in critical condition, which culminated into legacy issues. 4 years of relentless Dumsor, where businesses collapse, hospitals struggle, and students study under candlelight. Members of the press, on January 7, 2017, the Nana-Addo government took over an energy sector burden with over $2 billion in debt, primarily due to excess capacity payment linked to legacy take-or-pay contracts. These poorly negotiated contracts imposed an annual financial burden of nearly $1 billion on our economy for power that was neither needed nor utilized. In a parliamentary response, the then Finance Minister, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, confirmed that the previous administration was paying $500 million annually in excess capacity charges for power that was negotiated but ultimately unsuccessful, unnecessary. In response to these financial strains, the Nana-Addo government introduced the Energy Sector Levy Act, that is EXLA, born in 2017, which provided much needed relief to the industry. The minister himself acknowledged that the previous government spent 24 billion Ghana cedis on fuel purchases in 2024 alone, with projections of 30 billion cedis for this year. This admission underscores the significant effort made by the previous administration to ensure a stable power supply. Despite these challenges, it is crucial to note that transmission and distribution losses in the sector remain alarmingly high, exceeding 35%. The Electricity Company of Ghana ECG, continues to face revenue mobilization difficulties, power theft, etc. Yet, the Nana government managed to keep the lights on for 8 consecutive years. During that time, outages did not exceed a month, and Ghanaians were not subjected to prolonged periods of Dumsor, unlike the 4-year nightmare of President John Mahama. It is worthy to note that the last previous government, through prudent additions, strategically increased our generation capacity based on demand growth and needs assessment by 1,600 megawatts between 2017 and 2024, which include TT2PP, Amandi, Early Power, Bui Solar and Floating, that's 55 megawatt. Laura Carrier Solar, 32.5 megawatt, with Yendi Solar project of about 90 megawatt coming on board this year. There was also significant investment in transmission, including the 330 kV Pristia, Kumasi 225 kV, Burkina Faso Interconnection Project, 330 kV Aboazi, Pristia Line, Brekum Project, 330 kV Kumasi, Bolgatanga Transmission Lines, 161 kV, and then Achimota, that's Volta, Achimota Malam Lines, Accra Fort Box Supply Point Project, Kaswa Substation, etc. We also increased the national electricity access to 88.85%, among other investments in the sector. The President campaigned on a 24-hour economy, his bold vision requiring uninterrupted power. But how can the private sector businesses, hospitals, agro-processing factories, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, extractive industry, hospitality, educational institution, tourism and entertainment industry operate around the clock when the lights keep going off? Is it 24-hour economy or 24-hour blackout? Members of the press, we acknowledge the financial challenges in the sector, but leadership is about solutions, not excuses. The minister must: 1. Stop the fear-mongering and focus on fixing fuel supply issues for IPPs, that's independent power producers. 2. Engage stakeholders to renegotiate burdensome take-or-pay contracts. 3. Strategically set KPIs for ECG and NETCO to reduce operational and distribution losses and improve revenue collection. 4. Address challenges of the cash waterfall mechanism and enforce it. 5. Diversify energy mix with renewables and gas optimization, that is, maximize Jubilee and Tin fuels to reduce reliance on imported fuels. 6. Encourage off-peak consumption by industries to frighten demand curve. 7. Accelerate the rollout of smart metering to curb theft and increase revenue mobilization. We also understand and know some of the challenges are forest related and believe the current appreciation of the Ghana cedi is an opportunity to recover some losses in the sector. Today, however, a new generation, as Generation Alphas, is experiencing power outages for the first time, reminiscent of the dark days of Dumsor that plagued us from 2012 to 2016. A tragic irony, given that their parents and siblings experienced the worst Dumsor in our history under this same leadership. This is not merely a matter of nostalgia. It is a call to action. Ghanaians have already endured a 14.75% increase in electricity tariffs this year, and they rightfully expect a corresponding improvement in service quality and reliability. We, the Minority Caucus, firmly believe that any increase in tariffs must be accompanied by enhanced service delivery. We cannot accept poor performance while paying exorbitant prices. The specter of returning to the dark days of Dumsor is unacceptable. We recognize the financial challenges facing the industry, but if Minister John Jinapor requires assistance, he must seek it and prioritize action over rhetoric. And this shouldn't be a window for him to sign to unnecessary contracts, which will saddle the industry as they were noted before. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the press, 1, the patience of the Ghanaian people is wearing thin. 2, we demand action and result from the Minister of Energy and the government. 3, it is time to stop the talking and put the lights on, because Leonardo did say. 4, businesses are collapsing. 5, the minority MPs, especially those on the Energy Committee, we are complaining to the minister to take action now. Then 6, Dumsor is slowing down the economy. 7, the honeymoon is over, Mr. Minister. 8, enough is enough. Thank you, members of the press.
So you've listened to the ranking on the Energy Committee. Open the floor for questions. I think we'll do 3 questions. And then any of us is available to answer the questions. And then afterwards, we can take 3 more questions. So we'll start with...
Thank you very much. My name is Afenyo, and I work with And so my question is, going through your recommendation, some of them do not need to be fixed within a period of 1 month or 1 week. You have been there, and all the things you're calling for, it looks like it is really a burden on the minister. Don't you think that it is the way it was handled under your regime that have actually brought that effect on the current government?
Another person. Felix.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable. I'm Felix. I work with Express News.
What with who?
Express News.
Express News.
I want to know, Honorable, this tariff increase, was it not part of the IMF conditionality to Ghana under your regime? And then second, this power issue in the country. I remember when you were in the majority and you were in minority, the issue was that Ghana was producing more than necessary, that is excess capacity. What is the real issue on our energy sector that the 2 governments keep on tossing our heads? Thank you.
Charles.
My name is Charles. I work with Channel 1 TV and CTFM.
Are you the one? Charles is the one.
Yes.
This is the one. You should catch his attention. You're not the one to.
Is it fair to accuse the minister of scaremongering? Because the minister says he only attended upon the Energy Committee, gave facts of the energy sector as he has it, provided problems and solutions he is currently implementing. So he didn't come to the press with 2.6 days of fuel left. So it was the Energy Committee that rather allowed for the press to cover its proceedings, and then this came out. So is it fair to accuse the minister of scaremongering because he didn't come to the press to tell us this?
How many questions?
So 3, scaremongering. This from Charles. So let's take the last one and then you can answer the questions. Joy, the name.
Right, my name is Kubu Asante from Joy. So you did meet all the key players at that workshop which ended on Saturday. Did you get the sense that all the players are in tune with the current challenges? Because ECG was there, VRA, Bui Power, almost all those who matter, they come there. Did you get a sense that they are attuned with what is needed to fix the challenges, particularly given that all the blame has been laid at the doorstep of the ECG for its inefficiency? Did you get a sense that the minister and those who came to your committee have the right answers to fix the current challenges?
Sense of, okay. Okay, so I think we'll answer this set of questions and then afterwards, yes, the first question from Ohene, his question was, we have been there before, and so if you could repeat the question.
The cost of.
Oh, well, I think I always tell people that, and I say this in tree, it's a light there, and when your light goes off, it's how you feel. It's not what somebody tells you. I think the performance of the Nana Addo Dankwa government within the last 8 years is clear for everybody to see. We have acknowledged that there were challenges, but to keep the lights on within the 8 years of Nana Addo Dankwa was done differently from what we are currently seeing now. If you compare the erstwhile Mr. Mahama, His Excellency's government, from 2012 to 2016, and the kind of erratic power situation that we experienced, if you compare same to what we experienced under His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa, clearly the management of those two regimes is different. Yes, some of the challenges we're experiencing now are legacy challenges that each government observes. But we were not a government that kept on complaining and putting fear in the Ghanaian people. We went directly to do the job. That for me is the difference between the two. And as I said, the light situation, the erratic power situation between the two political parties is evident for everybody to see. Then Mr. Felix talked about an IMF conditionality. Yes, the IMF, under the IMF program, the IMF stated that we should have a quarterly adjustment. I'm not too sure the IMF said we should have quarterly upward adjustment. That was not the wording of the IMF statement. And adjustment can be up and down. Fortunately, when we met the power players over the weekend, PURC, which is the institution that is mandated to fix tariffs, indicated to us that the parameters they use in adjusting electricity tariffs is the same. It does not matter whether there's an IMF program or not. And if you read the last statement they brought out, explaining why they've increased the 14%, they talked about exchange rates, volatilities, they talked about the energy mix, and that does not necessarily mean that you have to be under a particular IMF program before they deal with these three issues. The conditions that are applied before a tariff is adjusted either upwards or downwards remains the same, irrespective of an IMF program or not. Don't forget that the data we have that PRC gave us just over the weekend indicates that even under the IMF program a few years ago, some of the quarters, there were no adjustments at all. It tells you that the IMF conditionality is not an enforcement for you to necessarily increase your tariffs. Based on the parameters available, the tariffs can go up or come down. And then you talked about excess capacity. I mean, it's quite clear to everybody. Yesterday, over the weekend, when we met the ECG, and if I have the permission of my ranking, I would love to share with you the financials that ECG gave us. it is clear to us, and the ECG managing director was very clear, that the major problem they are having now is not what people are talking about, that ECG is inefficient. Indeed, if ECG is able to collect 100% of all the billings that they do, they will still be in red. Why? Because the cost associated in buying the power from the IPPs is very, very high. And that is because of the kind of negotiation that went on during the last 2 administrations. When I say 2, I mean the SWAL, Mr. Mahama, His Excellency's administration. And that is the major problem that the ECG identified during our retreat. Mr. Charles talked about, Charles, can you come back again with your question? Scaremongering. Well, Mr. Charles, when the minister appeared at the committee, in fact, he was billed to speak just at the opening ceremony. It was during his opening remarks that he gave an indication that we only have about 2.6 days of fuel available. Fortunately, immediately he left, we had the other power players appearing before us. And GRIDCO, when they appeared before us, gave a different scenario. Indeed, the minister was referring to one particular thermal plant, just one. But when he was talking, he did not indicate that the 2.6 days is related to one particular thermal plant. Indeed, when the GRIDCO appeared before us, they gave us a breakdown of the fuel situation as at the time they were presenting to us. And with your permission, I could read it. DFO stock at home, which the KTPP was about almost 12 days. Was 12 days. Indeed, HFO stock at AXA was 3 days. So the minister's blanket statement that the fuel situation just about 2.5 days was reminiscent of what he did on the 7th of January, when he said we have just 5 hours of fuel, and then subsequently during his vetting he had to clarify. So yes, he came there, and if you realize, even at the meeting when he said 2.6 days left, everybody cringed. What that meant was that in the next 48 hours, Ghana should be in darkness. But here we are. I'm not sure there's a total blackout. It tells you that there were some other fuels in other thermal plants that the minister did not indicate. Is there any other that I missed?
Whether all the players
are in charge.
Whether all the
sense that all the players are in charge.
Kweku, can you just...
I was talking about... Because all the power players were there, including ECG, whether they gave you specifics that gave you assurances that the problems and challenges in the energy space are just about to be fixed, or they didn't really give you solutions from the minister up until ECG, who was the last to appear before.
The meeting, first of all, was for them to brief members of the Energy Committee on the situation. Of course, they also proposed solutions that they think should be handled or should be brought to the fore to help the situation. Fundamentally, ECG, and as I said, gave us a very, very interesting scenario. Their point was that it is not about their inefficiencies. Yes, they don't deny that some aspects of their business need some improvement. But the point they made was that until we fix the issue with the pricing of the commodity, the electricity commodity that they purchase before they sell, whether they recover 100% or not, ECG is still going to be in a problem. Of course, one of the major issues that all the players retreated was the lack of major investment. GRIDCO, VRA, all of them indicated that they needed extra investment into their operations in order for them to function as fully as possible. Thank you. Okay.
Do you feel the minister is up to task? Given he's been around for 4 months now, is he up to task? Do you get a sense that John Jinapor, you've talked about the things he said in opposition, whether or not he's really up to task and can take Ghana out of the current energy crisis.
Well, I think the question is for all of us to judge. I mean, for me as a consumer, what I expect is that when I get home, my lights should be on. As a business person, it's my hope that the cost of electricity is down. And it's not for me to judge whether the minister is up to tax or not. I think the Ghanaian people are the best judges of this particular question. And considering what we are experiencing now, your guess is as good as mine.
That's right. Okay, so clearly you are drawing the curtains. My friend. Your question. You have a question.
Use the microphone.
And it's a question.
Oh, yes. First of all, to engage in my two important issues.
Then your name, please.
My name is John Mensah, and I report for FMNewsOnline.com.
Okay.
Just to engage your mind on the two important issues at that meeting. One, ECG situation, how to retrieve money. Of course, you've made a point that if ECG should collect 100%, there's no way they can afford whatever it is that happening to them. Secondly, also the issue of Ghana Water Company, that for some years now, they are not paid, and they haven't paid at all. Just want to engage your mind. They have not paid ECG. Yeah, the bills from Ghana Water Company. They made it some years back just to make it matter. What's your thought on that particular issue that they did? Secondly, are you, as a minority, interfering?
You have one question.
Entertaining any fear?
Why are you
and how
asking more than one
alarming
question?
that fear it is?
Hey, Jonah, why are you asking more than one question? Why?
You allow me.
Abraham.
Thank you very much, Peter. Quick things. First of all, we are in problem. Everybody knows that we have unstable power supply. Some people slept in darkness yesterday, not because of the rains, but because we have a problem with the sector. From where you sit, you just left the seat less than 6 months ago. What is the ultimate solution? What is the ultimate solution to our problem from where you sit? And tie that into the fact that at the same engagement with the minister, he had announced that MDs, ministries, departments, and agencies henceforth are going to have to pay their own electricity bills. And the cabinet has sanctioned that. We've heard the stamp down number. The ministries, department, agencies are going to pay their own electricity bills. What was the challenge in that? And you think that's feasible in getting MDAs to pay their own bills?
Is that all? Yeah. Okay. So, MDAs. It's true, the minister indicated to us during the interactions that he has major challenges with state-owned institutions not fulfilling their obligations. And that whenever ECG approaches them, the concern has been the releases from the finance ministry has been slow, and therefore they are unable to pay their bills. I recall there was a program to ensure that all MMBs are connected to prepaid meters. What that means is that if you don't buy, the lights do not come on at all. I think that is one of the solutions that the minority will insist or will support any idea to ensure that there are prepaid meters in all the MMBAs, to ensure that, you consume what you buy so that you don't keep piling up debts for the government. Of course, we can also appeal to the finance ministry, considering the situation that ECG and other power players are facing, to be forthcoming with releases, because all these things are budgeted for. And of course, we know, yes, we all understand the financial situations. But if we are not careful and we keep compiling this kind of debt, we might get to a situation where it becomes entirely very difficult for us to deal with this. So our approach is that we will support the minister to push for prepaid meters in all these institutions to ensure that payments are forthcoming. He did indicate that there are certain critical areas, theaters, our schools, the security agencies. Those ones have to be a different conversations with government. Of course, you cannot switch off a theater. And even in the hospital, the minister indicated to us that there are going to be some categories, so that not the entire hospital enjoys that kind of blankets. So, as I said, we will support any initiative that is aimed at retrieving a lot of money for ECG. And then the next one was
the ultimate solution to our problem. What do you think?
Exactly some of the things that I'm talking about. For me, one of the things that we realized whilst in office is that this is a collective effort. I mean, sometimes you just go to somebody's house and deliberately they are simply not paying for the electricity that they consume. You go to industries and simply not paying. I remember the former MD of ECG embarked upon a certain program, and sometimes in a day he's able to recover 30, 50 million. That tells you that people simply refuse to pay. I think one of the solutions is for all of us as Ghanaians to understand that you cannot consume something and not be prepared to pay for it. And that one of the efforts to help electricity and the energy sector is for all of us to commit ourselves to at least paying for what we consume. Of course, ECG itself has to improve upon their inefficiencies that everybody talks about. Sometimes you get customers complaining that they are prepared to pay, but ECG is nowhere to be found to be billed for them to pay. So those are the things that I feel we can do to help the sector. Now, the other issue with ECG, I think Ghana Water, Duncan, you want to take that? Yes, Ghana Water situation is similar to what I just said. I mean, Ghana Water bills all of us, and I'm sure as part of their billing structure, they take into consideration the costs associated with treating the waters that we have, that we drink. And so I would have, it's quite surprising that you pay your water bill, but Ghana Water is not also failing to pay ECG. The minister was clear that he intends to pursue that, and that he's gotten cabinet approval to start such process. I don't think anybody on the minority side will be against any effort.
I think if I may, just to speak to that latter point you made, the concerns about Ghana Water not paying. This is intra-government. And if this is becoming a challenge, then it is more of we imposing a problem on ourselves. If government to government collection of revenue is a challenge, then we must throw our hands out there in despair. It cannot be an excuse that Ghana Water is not making payment of its debt to ECG, and we are being told as ordinary citizens, what can we do about it? As an ordinary citizen, what power do I have? You see, not to overly simplify the matter, and I commend the leadership of the committee who have done so well. One of the problems which is confronting the power sector is the payment of the independent power producers. True or false? It's true. And in the narrative, it's coming out clearly that the finance minister is not, emphasis mine, it's not releasing the oxygen, the necessary oxygen. Now, Car Power has come out clearly to complain. The government has to pay over 4 million. Is it 4 million? Over 400 million. So, and then people come and say that, oh, well, what did the previous government do? We are out of power close to 6 months. The next month will be 6 months. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, let's stop this chess game. People will come and say, you were in power a while ago, 5 months. 5 months is a significant period for government to take very important measures. And it's this same Jinapor, respect to our colleague, who was the ranking member, right or wrong? And he was the one who was all over the place. That we have excess power, we have excess capacity, and then the fact is that government has to pay independent power producers. What did we do when we were in power? We put in measures to ensure that the lights were on. The lights were on. You come 5 months, within a month, the light is going on, off, on and off. And you are just coming to tell us that Ghana Water hasn't paid. So what? You are in power. Fix it. That is why the people of this country gave them the mandate. And this strategy of coming to always tell us what the problem is will not help anybody. Why will government not mobilize revenue? Have they collected the taxes? Yes, they have collected the taxes. This week, we are also going to speak to you on a matter. Statutory payments are not being honored. The government collects the taxes and they are keeping the money. Why won't they go and pay car power? So if you're not paying car power as an independent power producer and your light is going off, I need to come back and tell us, the citizens, what are we supposed to do? You are the one who is in power. And just as the ranking said, the minister should stop the pressing the wrong buttons and fix the problem. The NDC government should show leadership by paying the independent power producers the debt that they have to pay. You're not paying the debt and you're announcing to us as citizens, what can we do? I don't know if you had light yesterday. For 24 hours, my place, there was no light.
Where is that?
If you want to know, find where I stay. You know where I stay. So, colleagues, it's important we don't overly simplify the matter. Let's ask the relevant questions, just as we are doing. We should engage, we should ask the relevant questions. But there are some fundamentals that we cannot gloss over. And one of the fundamentals are that the independent power producers are crying for. They are not being paid. And the government has collected the taxes and they are sitting on the money. And they are telling the average Ghanaian that we should go and sort out the Dumsor. It's pathetic. Let's be frank. And we didn't just come to lament. If you all of you have copies of the text. They just didn't come here to lament. We also preferred solutions. We hope they will appreciate the fact that these solutions are being preferred from the point of view of patriotism, believing that if they will listen and adopt these solutions, we can have light at the end of the tunnel. Haven't we heard about this prepaid being adopted by agencies of ministries and agencies of government before? We've heard it before. The same people, the last time when a statement was made on renewable power, the same minister came to say that government agencies, Jubilee House and government agencies were going to install solar panels. Didn't he say that? So if at one breath you come and enumerate solutions, and you don't have the wherewithal and the commitment to enforce them, you don't come back and announce the problem to us. You see what we have? And they will tell you, Mahama is the hope. Is it the hope? Is this the hope they promise us?
Yeah, let me add this. Hold on. Let me add this to it. Currently in West Africa, our tariffs with other West African countries are par with them. So we don't have problem with tariffs issues. What the issue now is both distribution and transmission. We have to solve that problem. Commercial losses. We have about 35, I said it, about 35% commercial losses. But the international market price or the international best prices is around 11 to 12%. So how can we survive if we continue losing distribution loss, commercial loss, if we continue this way? How can we survive? These are some of the things measures we need to put in place. And then the power theft. MMD is not paying their bills. These are some of the solutions. Thank you.
So I think there's some.
The question is, finish the questions. Then let's move on.
Your last words.
Thank you very much.
Please, I'm the moderator. I'm the moderator. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Please, your question.
Your last point.
No, I think you started. Let me go to him and then we'll come back to you. Okay?
Yes.
Please. Bro?
Yes, honorable.
Why are you a man down?
No.